West Side Story. Wow. I think my favorite movie of 2021, although there's still some 2021 releases I haven't seen, excuse me, in fact, none of the Spirit Awards nominees, I need to get those because I'm a voter. Be also some Oscar contenders I need to get to, but out of all the 2021 releases I've seen so far, I'm gonna call that my favorite. I mean, it's not easy to improve on a movie that won 10 Academy Awards, but this remake does it. In several ways, it's better. I will say the new Bernardo doesn't quite have George Chakiris' charisma and his Oscar-winning role in the first one, so that's one way the remake's not quite as good, but I thought the actress playing Anita was about as memorable as the first one's Rita Moreno, who is actually in this new movie as the part of Tony's boss, the store owner, is made a woman now and played by Rita Moreno, and she's wonderful, gives so much heart to the movie. So he's, much better than the male store in the first one. Not that the actor did anything wrong, he just wasn't as good. You could say that the first movie didn't do anything wrong. It's just this movie found ways to improve, but it's not just that. Even though I love the first one, I think I'm very glad it was a 10 Academy Award winning movie. There was room for improvement. I thought that even when I previously saw it. Now, I love Russ Tamblyn. In fact, I thought he was possibly my favorite performer in the first movie, but this movie actually managed to improve on it. The new actor, the big difference is that Tamblyn looked too old to be playing a juvenile. This actor doesn't, and he might have just a wee bit more charisma. And as far as big improvements, a lot of people, even those who love the original, will agree Richard Beymer was a weak spot. Warren Beatty, if Natalie Wood's later co-star in I always get Barefoot in the Park and Splendor in the Grass mixed up. Whichever one he was with Natalie Wood in. I actually watched when I was on plane, but anyway, Warren Beatty's supposed to play the part of Tony. Instead went to Richard Beymer, who, lacks any talent or charisma, but Ansel Elgort here is amazing. After I watched the original E.T., my parents took me during a re-release when I was 3. Well, that was the only time I'd cried during the movie for about nearly 20 years. Then I watched Fault in Our Stars, and I cried there, I guess. And I came close here too. Ansel Elgort gets just away with me, way of compelling me. He's perfect in this part. And then Rachel Zegler at the Mango film debut is way better than Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood looked like and sounded like a white girl. She was white, which she was. Also, her accent was terrible. I'm sorry, it was. So that only made matters worse. But here with Rachel Zegler, we have a character who, although she's half white, she's also half Colombian, and doesn't bother with the accent here. So even if she could have pulled off by sounding like her mother, they were once, Spielberg decided not to bother with that this time, and I don't think it's necessary at all. I think the point is Maria is being too Americanized, wants to be with Tony instead of a Puerto Rican guy like Chino. And not to mention, Natalie Wood's voice was dubbed over by Marnie Nixon in the original, and it was very noticeable that was fake, and that didn't work. But yeah, Rachel Zegler, the unknown, beat out tens of thousands of other girls for this part, and I'm glad she did. She and Ansel Egbert are, excuse me, beautiful together. So much rooting for their romance to work out, and I mean, this is based on Romeo and Juliet. So I think maybe you know what happens, but you have to need to watch it and find out. And it's not just the actors; there's some changes in the plot also. You know, the climactic scene, at least climax, my high school AP Government Econ teacher defined it as the point of no return in the story. So he said in Romeo and Juliet's when Romeo kills Tybalt. So yeah, a point at which things can't go back to the way they were anymore. So the equivalency in this one, we have, okay, this might be a spoiler, so cover your ear. So don't listen anymore if you're afraid of that, but I will say riff of it in this one goes out like a hero instead of just someone who was distracted forcibly, and Bernardo goes out as a tragic figure instead of someone of a cold-blooded killer. And that added power tremendously. And then there's some new songs added, no lower in quality. And then I noticed that that song the Jets are singing, imagining the officer is there. I know some lyrics were slightly different there, but again, the different doesn't mean worse. You know, as far as movie musicals, for me, the top two have always been Singing in the Rain and West Side Story. Now, given Singing in the Rain took almost all of its songs, including the titular one from older movies, you know, I'd say West Side Story has done the best job of any musical in history of giving us of all musical history, West Side Story did the best job easily of giving us original music, but I mean music not previously seen on screen. And yes, it's so fantastic, such a powerful story, and told even someone more powerfully here. Told with equally fantastic songs, and this time much better cast, and much better leads specifically, and it's amazing. I highly recommend this new West Side Story. Whether or not you've seen the original, I would recommend both, but you know what, maybe you don't even need the original anymore, because this one is clearly better, so just stick with this one. Noticing I'm saying that when comparing this movie to such a phenomenal classic as the original, that's high praise, and you need to watch this new one. I don't know why more people haven't. It breaks my heart it's been such a box office flop. But you know what? Even if it doesn't make Disney its money back, at least it won big at the Golden Globes, so maybe we'll say that the pride was worth the money they lost. I don't know. Anyway, do your part to help get some small impressive box office numbers it deserves, or at least impressive streaming numbers. For further thoughts, go to my written blog, AutisticArtCritic.com. Also follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Thank you.